Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville, and welcome to our first reading of Srimad Bhagavatam in Bhaktiville. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining us. So there's a lot of preliminary material to read and learn before we read the first verse. So today, though, we'll review the prayers that we sing before reading Srimad Bhagavatam each time, and along with the explanations or purports of these verses. If we have time, we'll start to read the introduction. I also want to note that this reading will have a somewhat flexible ending time. We'll try to end at the half-hour point, but may often go beyond that time. 45 minutes, though, will be the absolute limit of our reading. I won't go past that. So we'll be reading from Srila Prabhupada's first canto, and let me put a copy of this link in chat in case the folks here in Bhaktiville don't have it. So there's a link to the PDF. And for reference, I'll put this in chat also. For reference, the first three, or it's actually 4 verses. Oh, you have your book? Very exciting. First 4 verses. These are the reference pages for those verses. So thank you so much for joining us here in Bhaktiville. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Before I get going, let me, and you can chant along with me at home, pranams to Srila Prabhupada and Vaishnavas. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet, and to all the Vaishnavas in the world, past, present, future, all the universes, Vanchakalpatarubhyashta, Kripasindubhye vacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So Kandita's not here. Where is Kandita? I don't know. Let me text her in real life. All right, so I've texted her in real life. No, she is out of the hospital. She's out of nursing care, and she just got the complete go-ahead that she's all better and she can, resume life as normal. So she's doing much, much better. So I'm hoping to see her tonight. Yes, thank you for that reminder, Bhaktivinoda. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with the 4 verses that we sing before each class in Bhagavatam. So the first is here up on the screen, on the slide viewer. And the words are Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're offering our obeisances to Bhagavan, who is Vasudev. So Vasudevaya unto Vasudev. So the translation that Srila Prabhupada gives is, O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. And so we sing that 3 times. So let's do that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we sing this verse to invoke his pleasure. So the next verse, and this is the method that we'll be using all the way through. I'll sing a word, and you can sing it there at home with your mic off. And then I'll sing the next word, and then I'll string the words together into a phrase. So that's what we'll be doing all the way through. This is what we did when Srila Prabhupada was here. I don't know. I think they still do that in the temples. So let's do it. Oh, one thing I wanted to say, that each syllable is pronounced in a short way. And that short is called a matra. The duration of a syllable is called a matra. And when there's a long symbol over a vowel, that means that it gets two matras. So, Narayanam. So the na and the ya in this first word will be a little bit, the duration will be a little bit longer than the yanam. So, Narayanam, right? So, let's go ahead and get started. Narayanam. So you can repeat at home. Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. So when I'm not saying anything, I'm envisioning that you're saying that at home. So is it working? Are you doing that? Good. Dr. Mimula says yes. How about you, Greece? You doing this at home? I know. Don't turn on the mic. Okay, Greece is doing it at home too. Okay. Next line. Narang Chaiva. Naram Chaiva. Narottamam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Sarasvatim. Devim Sarasvatim. Vyasam. Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam. Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam. Excuse me. Tato Jayam Udirayat. Tato Jayam Udirayat. All right, so now we know how to say the whole thing, and we'll go through the whole thing all at once. I'm going to sing the whole thing through, but I'm going to sing it twice. And the second time you can sing it along with me. Or you can sing it along with me the first time even, since I won't be hearing you. So here we go. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Atto Jayam Udirayat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Atto Jayam Udirayat. All right, good job. So with Prabhupada's classes, we would next go to the word for word. So here's, uh-oh, I didn't load it on here, darn it. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had loaded it on here. Nope, did not. Sorry about that. So I'll do the word for word by myself. Oh, actually you can look it up in your PDF if you want. It's this one, 124, book page 88 or PDF page 108. So you can look that up if you want to. But I'll just go ahead. Sorry about that little blip there. Okay. Narayanam, the personality of Godhead. Namakritya, after offering respectful obeisances. Naram Chaeva, and Narayana Rishi. Nara Uttamam, the supermost human being. Devim, the goddess. Sarasvatim, the mistress of learning. Vyasam, Vyasadev. Tataha, thereafter. Jayam, all that is meant for conquering, udirayet, be announced. So the English, before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. All right, so we'll be reading every week. We'll just read the Sanskrit and English before we get started. But this week I wanted to also do the word for word. All right, we'll do the same with this verse. Shrinvatam sva, Shrinvatam sva, kata, kata, Shrinvatam sva kata, Krishnaha, Shrinvatam sva kata Krishnaha. So in the middle of a sentence, we don't do the echo, the aha part. We just sort of ignore it. Some people use an extra breath, a half matra, um, there in the middle, but whatever you like. So, Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna. Next line, Punya, and this is the N with your tongue up there in the top of your mouth. Kind of, your tongue is bent backwards a little bit. Punya, Punya, Shravana, Punya Shravana, Kirtanaha, Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Oops, there's a message. Bhaktivinoda says, I noticed that you can't remember his name, does not do the final H either. Maybe sometimes he does. And some people, singing. Some people, if they're Bengali, I was talking to a Bengali woman the other day, they don't do the aha at all. They just do extra breath all the time. Oh, so Madhukar, yeah, so he's in Bengal. So he's probably going to do it that way. He's just going to not do the aha. He's just going to do with an extra breath at the end. And I was just listening to a Sanskrit professor this morning, and he said, everybody does it differently, and no one is right because we don't really know how it was spoken when it was spoken thousands of years ago. So everybody has regional preferences and regional dialects and regional accents. He prefers South India. Other people prefer other areas. So Bhaktivinoda whispers probably in Tennessee too. Yes. And then there's that Tennessee accent. So yeah. So some people do, some people don't. It's not that important. We're working on it. We're all a work in progress. All right. Third line. Shridi anta, Hridyanta, sto. Greece says, it's the intent that matters, not the words or how you speak it. Yes, we're going to keep that as our motto because I am no expert at this, but I'm working on it. Okay. Hyabadrani, Vidyantasto Hyabadrani. And Bhaktivinoda says, it's all Prabhupada's mercy. Yes. Last line. Vidhunoti, Suhrit. Vidhunoti Suhrit. satam vidhunoti suhrit satam. All right, let's do the whole thing. Shrinvatam svakata Krishna. We'll do one line at a time. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Riddhantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. All right, the whole thing all at once. You can do it with me. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Riddhantasto Hyabadrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam. I'm going to do the word for word by myself. Again, I apologize. Shrinvatam, those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Svakataha, his own words, Krishnaha, the personality of Godhead, Punya, virtues, Pravana, hearing, Kirtanaha, chanting, Riddhi antastaha, within one's heart, he, certainly, Padrani, desire to enjoy matter, Vidhunoti, cleanses, Suhrit, benefactor, Satam, of the truthful. And now the English translation, and you can read it with me. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. These are sung every day before Bhagavatam class. Yes. Bhaktiminulus asks. Yes. And everyone just kind of does it while they're getting seated and opening up their book and Okay. Last one. Nashta prayeshva. Nashta prayeshva. Abhadreshu. Nashta prayeshva badreshu. Nityam Bhagavata. Nityam Bhagavata. Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama. Bhagavati Uttama. Shloka or Shloke. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati. Bhaktir Bhavati. Naishtiki. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. All right, each line on its own. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. All right, all together, the whole thing. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So when they sing these every day, they're not doing the word for word every day. They're just doing the verses themselves. All right, word for word. Nashta, destroyed. Prayeshu, almost to nil. Upadreshu, all that is inauspicious. Nityam, regularly. Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavatam, or the pure devotee. Sevaya, by serving. Bhagavati, unto the personality of Godhead. Uttama, transcendental. Shloke, prayers. Bhakti, loving service. Bhavati comes into being, Naishtiki, irrevocable. In the English, you can sing it with me or say it with me. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service under the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. All right, so those are the preliminary songs that people sing before Bhagavatam class. And now we'll open up our Bhagavatam and start at the very beginning. We're going to skip over the illustrations. We'll look at the illustrations as they come into the text itself. And so the name of this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, all glory to Sri Guru Gauranga, Srimad Bhagavatam of Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa. And Prabhupada puts this quote that's here on page 186. Krishnesva Dharma Pagate Dharma Jnana Dibisaha Palu Nashta Tishamesha Puranarko Unoditaha. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. And then a list of other books by Srila Prabhupada, which was the list at the time, but it's much longer now. Srimad Bhagavatam, First Canto, Creation. Part 1, chapters 1 through 7, with a short life sketch of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the ideal preacher of Bhagavad Dharma, and the original Sanskrit text, its Roman transliteration, synonyms, translation, and elaborate purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Copyright 1972. So we're using an older version of the book because changes were made later on that people have, are not so happy with. So we'll just stick with the original and go with that. The dedication page to Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master, on the 26th annual ceremony of his disappearance day. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives in him. I heard some typing. Greece says, you can't please everyone. Oh, Bhakti Mimula says he's only ever heard the first one. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to sing all three because they're really great. Okay, so we're going to pass by the table of contents. We're just going to scroll through that because it's quite elaborate. And we'll start with the preface on page 24 of the PDF. Preface. We must know the present need of human society. And what is that need? Human society is no longer bounded by geographical limits to particular countries or communities. Human society is broader than in the Middle Ages, and the world tendency is toward one state or one human society. The ideals of spiritual communism, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are based more or less on the oneness of the entire human society, nay, on the entire energy of living beings. The need is felt by great thinkers to make this a successful ideology. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need in human society. It begins, therefore, with the aphorism of Vedanta philosophy, Janmantasya Yataha, to establish the ideal of a common cause. Human society at the present moment is not in the darkness of oblivion. It has made rapid progress in the field of material comforts, education, and economic development throughout the entire world. But there is a pinprick somewhere in the social body at large, and therefore there are large-scale quarrels, even over less important issues. There is need of a clue as to how humanity can become one in peace, friendship, and prosperity with a common cause. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need, for it is a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of higher human society. Srimad Bhagavatam should be introduced also in the schools and colleges, for it is recommended by the great student devotee Prahlad Maharaj in order to change the demonic face of society. From Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 6th Chapter, Verse 1. Kaumara acharet prajno dharmam bhagavatan iha durlabham manusham janma tad apya adruvam artadam. And the English translation of that verse is, Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life, in other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Back to our text. Disparity in human society is due to lack of principles in a godless civilization. There is God, or the Almighty One, from whom everything emanates, by whom everything is maintained, and in whom everything is merged to rest. Material science has tried to find the ultimate source of creation very insufficiently, but it is a fact that there is one ultimate source of everything but be. This ultimate source is explained rationally and authoritatively in the beautiful Bhagavatam, or Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad means beautiful. Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental science, not only for knowing the ultimate source of everything, but also for knowing our relationship with Him and our duty towards perfection of the human society on the basis of this perfect knowledge. It is powerful reading matter in the Sanskrit language, and it is now rendered into English, elaborately so, that simply by a careful reading one will know God perfectly well, so much so the reader will be sufficiently educated to defend himself from the onslaught of atheists. Over and above this, the reader will be able to convert others to accept God as a concrete principle. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source. It is a bona fide commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, Srila Vyasadeva. Gradually it develops into 9 cantos up to the highest state of God realization. The only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step cautiously and not jump forward haphazardly like with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged, with its original Sanskrit text, its English transliteration, synonyms, translation, and purports, that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. The 10th canto is distinct from the first 9 cantos because it deals directly with the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. One will be unable to capture the effects of the 10th canto. Excuse me. One will be unable to capture the effects of the 10th canto without going through the first 9 cantos. The book is complete in 12 cantos, each independent, but it is good for all to read them in small installments, one after another. I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still, I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm just going to read this instead of sing it. Tad bhag visargo janatag viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadavatyapi na manyan nantasya yasho and kitanyach chin shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. Bhagavatam 1:5-11. On the other hand, that literature which is full with descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a transcendental creation meant to bring about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Om Tat Sat, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, dated Delhi, December 15, 1962. So, let's see, how long is this introduction? It looks like that's a good place to stop. That's our half hour, a little over our half hour. And Bhaktivinoda says, not a small task, yes. And not a small task for Srila Prabhupada to translate it all. And he was looking at, yes, for Prabhupada, yes. And he was looking at multiple other books for their commentaries and combining them all together. Bhaktivinoda says, I mean, how big he knew it would be. Yes. Well, he came across how big it would be for the whole society. Yes. Oh, that too. Yes. Well, he came across on the Jaladuta with 3 volumes of this first canto. And so he'd been working on it for a long time. And once he got everyone all lined up to do all of the typing and typesetting and proofreading and all those things, it was quite a machine. Every couple of weeks a new chapter would come out, and we were just waiting and waiting each week for another chapter. They would take the chapters and bind the chapters and distribute them among the temples, because we'd gotten to a point where we had nothing left to read, and so we were waiting for these new chapters to come. I can't tell you how many times I read the first canto, because we didn't have anything else but the first canto. So we read it every morning. So once he got that kind of publishing machine in place, they just came out like gangbusters. Boom, boom, boom. So very grateful that now we have all 12 cantos. After Srila Prabhupada passed away, there was a group of devotees who translated 10th, 11th, and 12th cantos where Prabhupada left off and published those. Nice, Grease says. And thank you, Dasi, for reading. You're very welcome. I like to read these things. And it's good for me too, to read them and study and present it. So next Friday, we'll start on the foreword, and then the life story of Lord Chaitanya, this short story of Lord Chaitanya, will take us a couple weeks to get through. Reading is fundamental, Greece says. Bhakti Mimina says, I hope my normal Friday is quiet here so I can sing out loud. Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice. We can sing out loud and just maybe sing it quietly. We'll see. All right. Well, thank you again for letting me come in here and read Srimad Bhagavatam. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you who are listening to us on Facebook. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.